as Jean said, I'm Russell. I work for the UK distributor of the Smartboards, and my role, I'm not normally a trainer. My role is actually to manage the 150 resellers in Scotland. But I live in Dunfermline. You guys are local, so it's important that you get use out of the technologies, because one day when I have kids, I might send them here, and the technology will be completely changed by then. But that's not the worry. Has anybody used a Smartboard before? All right, so can we swap?
No, we can't.
That's okay. So what we'll do, we'll start right from the very beginning. We'll look at what a Smartboard actually is, how it will benefit your lesson, and hopefully, if I come back here again, I'll not see one of these in the room. When I came in, this was sitting right in front of the Smartboard. If there's 3 words I want you to take away from today, it's write, save and distribute. Okay, because we're going to write in the Smartboard, we're going to save it, and then we'll distribute the notes at the end of the lesson. Okay, so we'll have a look first of all at how the board works and how you can make best use of a board. You'll notice at the bottom of the board there's 4 pens and an eraser. The pen, you have a look, is nothing more than a lump of plastic. Okay, so it doesn't matter if we lose the pens or if the pens aren't here. I'll show you some little tricks to get around it.
They're different colours, sorry. Is there some
It's
reason why they're different colours?
just to help you. So essentially, how the pens work, you'll see when I pick up the blue pen, the blue light goes on.
Oh.
Okay, there's a little sensor in the tray, which when it's exposed to the light, says, I'm exposed to the light here, I'm a blue pen. So when I now write my notes on the Smartboard, they'll be in blue pen.
Right, and the green will write green.
Absolutely. Now, it doesn't matter if, as I say, if the pen's missing. All we need to do is pick up anything at all, could be a bit of paper or whatever, and cover the sensor with it. Okay?
Yes, you can change colour.
Absolutely. So if I want to use a blue pen, I could pick this up, and I could write with my phone, or if I could write with my finger. I'll just use you. Could you draw a wee bit of blue ink on my finger, please? That's lovely. So now there we go. With my magic finger, we can use the blue pen. Okay. Obviously, you don't need to draw on your finger first to make it blue. Just by removing whatever's in the pen tray, will make your finger that colour. Okay. So the pens there are just to try and make it more like a noble board or a flipchart. Just there for your use. Okay.
Russell, can I just interrupt?
Of course you can.
I'm looking at all the spaghetti at the back of the monitor. How do we switch all and connect all that?
Nice and easy. Okay, so you've got host PCs in the room. I've brought my own laptop in today because the software's all installed in that already. So all you need to do when you walk in, we'll start right from the beginning, is hit the big on switch there. Okay, it'll be orange, hit it, it will go green, and turn the PC on and your PC screen will come up. So if we have a look.
Can I just get, so if I'm going to use this and I come in and nothing's on, are you telling me I only have to press one button and it all comes on?
That one, and turn the PC on as well.
So it's
Two buttons and you're good to go. Okay, let's have a look at how it's all set up and tied together. Right, I'm not Tony Hart, so I'll apologise now for my drawings. So we have our Smartboard, okay, there, which is hooked in to the PC using a USB cable. Okay, that's the only cable that comes out from the Smartboard itself. Up the top here we'll see we've got the projector. So obviously your PC is then hooked to the projector using a VGA cable. Now for those of you who aren't technical savvy, that's the one with the 2 screws at each side and the dots in the middle. So that's your projector, which then shines onto the Smartboard. Smartboard uses something called resistive technology, and how resistive technology works, it's dead straightforward. We've got 2 layers, the front and the back, and all we're doing is creating that connection between the 2 layers. So you've got to lean with purpose and effect. Okay, don't worry, you'll not break it. I'm not challenging you to that fact. But lean with a bit of purpose and effect and make sure that you're creating that connection between the 2 layers. Because you can see we can touch the board, but not right. So just lean and make sure.
Does the eraser work with any other inanimate object as well?
Any pen. Any pen that you put on the board, the eraser will work with. If it's an object, you just delete. Okay? I'll show you how to do that in a wee second. So has anybody got any questions on that? So we come in, we turn the board on using the big on button, turn the PC on, and then that's us ready to go.
Board on first?
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter which one.
Either way. Okay. So the Smartboard comes with a piece of software called Smart Notebook, and you can see that is our Smart Notebook icon just here. Okay. So to launch any application, all we need to do is walk up and double tap it, just like we would a mouse. You'll notice today you don't actually need to go to the keyboard and mouse of a PC. You can do everything from the Smartboard. Okay. So to launch anything, we just double tap it. So Smart Notebook software in its basic form is one of these. What I've just used there showing you how resistive touch works and how the board ties together was using Smart Notebook software. So earlier on, that lesson that we saw here with this could have been done on the Smartboard, but writing those notes up in digital ink. Okay, so let's just bang this over this side. So you'll see here the interface for Smart Notebook software is pretty straightforward. Smart work very closely with Microsoft, so the icons and all the icons should be simple and easy to understand, but we'll go through them all with you just now anyway. Okay, so the basic tools are these. Now we start at the top left hand side where you see we've got an arrow facing backwards and an arrow facing forwards. You can probably guess what they're going to do. Okay, there's unlimited pages here, right? You can have as many pages within your flip chart as you want, and you're never going to run out of paper and you're never going to run out of ink. So to add a new page, what's the next button along? So add new page. Okay, and you'll see down the left hand side, the right hand side or the left hand side, you've got this little double arrow here which you can put to whatever side you're presenting at. Okay, as your list of pages. Okay, so forward and backwards through your pages or your arrows facing backwards and forwards, and add a blank page in is our next one along. Okay, then we have open if you've got a document that you've previously done before in Smart Notebook, save, paste if you've done a copy and paste, undo, redo and delete. Now you'll notice that undo, redo and delete are all greyed out, and that's because we've nothing to undo or nothing to redo. But if I was to draw on the Smartboard, then I could undo it. But of course, then I could redo it.
If you write something, can you save it, or does it need to be typed in?
No, we can save it. It's all part of this write, save and distribute. Okay, and the trick here as well is don't worry about having to go and type your notes up, because psychologically what is delivered the students will remember. Right, if you put scribbles and handwriting notes up and then hand it out to the students in a scribbled form, because it's how it was delivered, they'll take that in. You can tidy it up and you can convert to text, and I'll show you how to do that, but as you're delivering it, don't worry about it looking a bit scrappy. The students will take that in because it's what was delivered. Okay, so forward and back are pages, add a page, open, save, paste, undo, redo and delete. Fairly happy with those tools? So these are our next basic tools here, which are these ones along here. Okay, so you can see right now I've got the arrow highlighted, and that basically means every time I touch the board I'm a mouse. Okay, we have to remember to go back to being a mouse, because when I'm a pen, I'm going to be a pen regardless if it's in my hand or if it's out the tray, if it's my finger. Okay, so we've got our 4 pens down the bottom of the tray: black, red, green and blue. I also have the pens up here as well. Okay, so if I didn't want to lift out a pen and I wanted just to choose a pen from the top, I could pick the green pen and we could write on the board using our finger with the pens from the top. Okay, I have our fancy pens, our creative pens, but being a professional college we will never use these ones very much. Okay, There's a whole lot of fancy pens in there, just depending on what you want to do, okay? And then we have our eraser here. Now we've got our eraser down the bottom, but this is only one size, okay? But up here we have a number of different sizes from pretty small to very large, okay? And as I say, we can only erase what we've done with a pen, so I can't erase this because these are objects. If I wanted to delete them, I would need to click on them with the pen, with the cursor, sorry. And then I can now delete using the delete button up there. Or alternatively, everything in Notebook is an object, so everything carries this drop-down box to the right here, and I can click on that, and we have our delete there as well. Okay. We've also got our line tools here, but we'll look at the line tools later on as well. We've got lines and shapes and so on and so forth. So we're quite straightforward with what we see there. So we've got our forward and backwards for our pages, add a blank page in, open, save, paste, undo, redo, delete. And then over here we've got our cursor, our pens, eraser and our lines. Now, as I say, just bear in mind, and it's something because the students love it when you get it wrong. It's always quite funny. So I've currently got a green pen highlighted, so I'm going to write on the Smartboard. Now I want to move this, because everything in Notebook is an object, I want to move it, but if I go to move it right now, what's my finger going to be? It's going to be a pen. So what I need to remember to do is go back up here, then I can click on the object and then move it. Okay. Just like in PowerPoint, all our objects you can see have 3 options on them. The first one, the green one up the top, is a rotate. So we can click on the rotate and we can spin it round and round. Okay. The second one we've looked at is a drop-down box where it allows us to do clone, which is just a quick copy and paste, cut, copy, paste and delete. We can lock something into place so that it can't be moved about. We can group things or flip them round or change the order, just like in PowerPoint. But you'll notice at the top here as well, I've also got recognize, because it's going to recognize my handwriting. I've written the word smart, recognize smart, and it changes it into text for me. Okay. If it's read my handwriting wrong, or if you want to change the colour or the font or the size, all I need to do is just double click and I can change them. Highlight it with your finger, and then this is straight out of PowerPoint and Word. Change it to whatever you want to change it to. Can I suggest when we're using a Smartboard as text font, we use as a minimum 36. Just so that in classes folk at the back can see. Okay, we can change bold, italics, underline, justification, all that sort of thing. So that's all because we clicked on it and hit the drop-down box. Now it's not pen, it is an object, so I cannot erase it. So to erase it, I'd have to delete. Okay? Quite happy with that? Excellent. So that's our basic tools. We also have a pen, which is a magic pen. Having a look at the toolbar at the top, can anybody see what might be the magic pen? One of the stars. We know it's magic because it's got stars around it. All right, so I've got a picture on the screen here. What do you see in the picture?
I see a man.
You see a man. Woman and a dog. Okay, so let's just have a look. So I'm going to grab my magic pen. We see the man, which is the full thing. But if we look here, I'll draw a circle, and I get a spotlight on my screen. Okay, so here's a dog. Here's one of the men. Here's a woman. But you saw the big man there. Okay, so with a circle with a magic pen, we get a spotlight. If I was to draw a square or a rectangle, it will give me a zoom. Now the zoom will only be as good as the picture behind it, because it's just a digital zoom. It's not going to going optically, okay? So it's great if you've got text or a whole load of things on the screen that you want to draw the attention to the students of. And then we can move that about and see, here's our old man, here's our dog, and here's our lady holding the baby. The final thing the Magic Pen does is if I wanted to just highlight each individual thing, we could do so, but what will happen is these will disappear in about 7 seconds. There is an issue if you try to type or write with the Magic Pen. Now, can anybody guess what it might be? If I was to write the word Luke, what's going to happen when I write the O? The O is going to become the spotlight. Smart are actually aware of that, and they're going to try and change that so it knows if you're writing text, it will keep it as a no rather than going to the spotlight. Okay, so really you're only going to use the Magic Pen for the spotlight, the magnification, and probably highlighting. You're probably not going to use it for writing text. Okay, so we'll jump up there. So we've got a shape pen as well. Okay, the shape, you always know when we're looking at pens because it's got a pen on it, right? So we've got the shape pen, and all the shape pen does is help you quickly draw shapes without having to go into the shape toolbar up here and select the shape. So we can go to the shape pen. If I want to draw a circle, I can draw a circle and it will tidy it up nice and quickly for me. Okay. It's not rocket science. All it's doing is straightening the lines. So, you know, if I was to do something like that, it's not going to draw a shape. It's just going to straighten the lines and make them what it believes it is. But that becomes very, very handy if we like drawing process and flow diagrams and so on. So if I wanted to very quickly put a flow diagram up, we could very quickly pull it together. Okay, and then it just means that we don't have to be jumping backwards and forwards into the shape tools. This one was a bit messy, but we can change that and delete it as an object. Okay, so everything here is now an object which we can very quickly draw. The other way to do that obviously would be to go to the shape toolbar up the top and then pick out squares and circles and so on. But it just means that you're always going to be very quickly get to what you want without jumping backwards and forwards to the line toolbar to draw your lines. Okay. So that's our toolbar up here. We'll look at the ones in the middle in a wee second. So we've got our normal pens, our fancy pens, and our eraser. We've got our line toolbar, our shape toolbar, our shape pen, and our Magic Pen. Can you see how you might integrate some of these into your lessons? Yeah. Okay. So obviously with shapes, just like PowerPoint and Word and so on, and Paint, we can fill these shapes with colours or whatever you want to do. Now it's dead straightforward. All we need to do is click on the shape, and then we need to go to our Properties toolbar. Now I've got two Properties toolbars on the page here. Can anybody guess what they might be? See, we've got one here. See, we've got the different colours, the A and the lines, and then there's also one at the side of your toolbar. Okay, so if we click on that there, we can see here that we've got fill effects. So it takes you step by step as to what it could be. So we've got just straight out of Microsoft, do we want a solid fill, a gradient fill, a pattern fill, or an image fill? The image fill, I'll just dump the image from my pictures or wherever in, but it's to be fair, it's not a great thing because it keeps the image at the full size. It doesn't shrink it to fit. I was in a school once where a teacher wanted to put kids' faces in the stars. Thought it'd be a great idea, but then you got an eye and a star, and it wasn't great. So the solid fill, gradient fill, and pattern fill, you know, it's just a case of choosing what you want, and helps if I choose two different colours. Will fill your shapes. So it's just a case of very simply clicking on the shape you want to fill, and then choosing what you want from the Properties toolbar. Within the properties toolbar, though, we've got an awful lot of additional things we can do. We can change the colours of the pens up here as well. We can change our line styles that we have, as all of this sort of thing. So here's our line style. I've highlighted the green pen up here, but I want to change that pen to that colour. I want quite a thick line, and I'll save that to my property toolbar. Okay, so now when I go in here, here's my new pen, which will always be available for you to use. Okay, so if there's a colour that you want to use, which isn't down here, you can create your own pen from the properties toolbar. Okay. It's exactly the same as what we do in Microsoft. See what I did there? Did anyone see what I just did? Didn't go back to being a pen. Even I still do it, so you're fine. Right. We also have tables within Smart Notebook. Now the tables are just like tables in Word. You can't export them, they're just there for reference. Okay? So to put a table in, all we need to do is go up to our table toolbar at the top, click on our table toolbar and decide how big we want our table to be. So we grab from the top left and highlight how many cells you want. So you can see there at the bottom it says it's going to be a 4x6, and you can have the table as big or as small as you want just by dragging your finger, and then that will insert that into your notebook file. If you want to change the size of a cell, exactly the same as what we do in Excel, we click on the cell and drag it to change the size. Okay. So I have an exercise for you. Who would like to be nominated? We'll take you because you're closer. And oh, come on, the two of you can come up. A round of applause for them, please. So, with resistive touch, we can only work one at a time at the board. So this is a key thing to use. So if one of you choose animals and one of you choose birds, now there is an insect in there just to throw you, and what I'd like you to do is just take a turn about and drag the animal and drag the bird into the cell. So we have to work one at a time.
Okay.
There we go. Now what you'll see is the cell will go blue, and the image will then shrink to fit the size of the cell. So you don't need to worry about resizing images or resizing pictures. It will automatically resize it for you. There we go. Pros. Round of applause, Lee. There we go. So the tables, I know that's a very basic thing there. The tables can be used for pretty much anything at all. We can also hide the cells using what we call a cell shade. Okay, so in here I've got 1, 2, 3. What's next? No, I'm going to 5, 6, 7. Okay, so to put a cell shade over my table, all I need to do is right mouse click. Now, to be fair, this is probably something you'll set up on your laptop at home, but if it's something you want to do in class, all we need to do is right mouse click. Now, we can do a right mouse click in 2 ways. Down the bottom here, I have 2 buttons. The left-hand button is an on-screen keyboard, okay, which will pop up in a second. Okay. The other button here is a right mouse click. So when I click on that there, your next screen press will be a right mouse click. Okay. So now when I touch on my cell, it brings up this here, and you can see down there it says Add Cell Shade. So we can click on that, and there's the cell shade on. Okay, Borders College use this pretty well actually. There's a guy who does electrical engineering and so on. He did quite a basic one, and he had and OR gates or whatever it was. That's way over my head. And he had the pictures of it and the cell covering what it was, and he had the students with a third row of cells in there come up and write what they believe it was, and then just open it up to see if they got it. It's just a bit of group work to get them interacting. Okay. We also have a screen shade. Now the screen shade is quite a handy bit of kit because the screen shade will allow you to cover up work that you don't want your students to see, because you know what happens. You slide up and you've got somebody at the back of the class is reading down here when you're still talking about up here. So the screen shade, well, we've got an overhead projector in the room. In fact, we've got 1, 2, 3 overhead projectors in the room. This was there we go. You know, an overhead projector, we used to put bits of paper on top of it. Well, that's all this is doing. The only difference is when I get to the bottom of my page, the bit of the paper is not going to fall off, right? So I can grab my screen shade and I can reveal, as we go down, what we're showing. Okay? And we can do that from top to bottom, or left to right, or right to left, however you want to do it. But the neat thing about this is you can put the screen shade on that page before the lesson starts. So if you've got a lot of text and you know that the students are going to be reading ahead, cover it up. Okay, so then the focus of attention is on you rather on what you're going to talk about. Okay. What we've got here as well is quite clever. It's really simple. I've got something here called rub and reveal. Okay, so I have a number of objects on this that I want to discuss. But what I can do is erase them. Okay, so all I've done here is created a white pen because I can't erase objects as we've already discussed. So I've put the boxes in, we've typed the in the box. So what I've done is I've created a white pen. How do we create a new pen? Properties, yep. And then into line style, and then we change the pen, okay? So I've created a white pen here, and I've gone over the top of my object. It's probably easier to do it this way rather than having the boxes hidden as well. And then we can discuss as a class what should be where. So this could be a review of a lesson beforehand or the previous day, or just to test some knowledge. So this here is the STEM. So we could get somebody up to write on it, STEM. Is it S-T-E-A-M? It is, isn't it? That's STEAM. Don't worry, see, it's always the start. So we rub out then from what's behind. Okay. So it's just a case of something really simple. I've taken a pen colour, which is the same colour as my background, and gone over my object. Very, very simple, but quite effective as well, because again, you're hiding what's behind, but the class can still see the overview of the screen. Okay. Any questions on that?
It's probably not the right time to ask it, but the fact that you mentioned screen shade.
Yeah.
Can you change the whole background colour?
Yeah, absolutely. Just in exactly the same way. You've got the background colour up here. So it's in exactly the same way you would do it on Word and Paint and so on. We would just click on the page, and I'll show you how to do that. But I'll tell you what I'll do actually. Rather than change my whole presentation, I'll give you notes, or I'll send notes to Jean as to how to do that.
You can do it, it's fine.
But you can't.
Just, a lot of students are supposed to have text and backgrounds in different colours.
Yeah. You can absolutely do that. Absolutely. Because it's just a more advanced PowerPoint notebook. Just while we're on that subject as well, actually, you can import your PowerPoint presentations into Notebook. So don't think here, God, we're going to have to learn something completely new and change all my materials into Notebook files. We can import your PowerPoint presentations into Notebook, okay? I'll show you how to do that then. Don't let me forget, because I imagine you've probably got loads of PowerPoint files. But I'm also going to show you how to use it in PowerPoint, okay? We can animate objects as well. What's the odd one out here? Teddy bear. So we can, again, just straight out of PowerPoint. So to animate an object, all we need to do is click on the object. And again, it's in the Properties tab. So into Properties and Object Animation. Okay, we can have fly in it, fly out, zoom in, zoom out, all these sort of things. Fade in, spin round, okay, straight out of PowerPoint. Okay, and you can say when it happens, when the object is clicked, or whatever you want to do. Okay. Finally, we'll look at 2 other things in Notebook, and then I'll have a look at PowerPoint and Excel, and then hopefully that's you brainwashed enough. As part of Notebook, we've got something called the gallery, and it's a bit like an advanced clip art. Okay, so I'll add a blank page in. Now you'll notice the blank page has gone in after the page that I was on previously, and in between the pages that I've not gone to yet. So it's after that page. Okay. The gallery is, as I say, where all the clip arts and files in that you might want to use in. Where might the gallery be? Absolutely. So in the gallery, we've got 6,708 items. What do you teach?
Event management.
Event management. So what might you look at? If you wanted, say, a picture or something to.
Well, if there were photographs in it, but there won't be photographs of venues, that kind of thing.
Let's just see. We'll just do a venue. See if there is anything in here. No, darn. But it's hard. I mean, you can create your own gallery as well. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Let's just look at bodies, just for example. Right. So there's a whole load of pictures and whatever we can look at. There's also interactive multimedia things here we can look at as well, where you can have a look at different parts of the body. Okay, the gallery is pretty much the only thing that tends to get updated in the Notebook software. So as we're seeing more and more smartboards now going into further and higher education, the gallery is getting updated with products and images and clip arts and so on, but might be akin to further and higher education. A lot of it is still designed for primary school and secondary school. There's also a whole load of nursery stuff as well. But I'm trying to think what else. So we can go into the gallery essentials here. We just click on the plus and we can see all the subjects down the side here. Okay, so if we look at sports and recreation, we've got things for badminton. In fact, the SFA, I've taken on board a whole load of smartboards just to use this as well for training. So if we have a look at football, in here we've got a whole load of things that they use. Where's the background picture? So we've got that, and then they're putting pictures of people and whatever into there to show where they should be playing and so on and so forth. If in the gallery there isn't exactly what you need, but say there is something that you use all the time, you've got this section up here called My Content. And quite simply for My Content, all you need to do is drag it up and drop it in My Content. And now every time I go here, and my pictures is what you have. So you can create your own venues and whatever else you might put in there, people and culture or whatever, and put it into My Content. So it's always going to be there for you to instantly access. Okay, which is quite neat. It just saves you having to look through a whole host of.
Can you import from Google?
You can. So I'm not online right now, but it's actually very, very easy to do. Just watch for copyright in Google. That's the only thing to say. Let's just go into the web and have a look at how we might do this. So we can obviously do a copy and paste, or to be nice and easy, my favourite way is what I call drag and drop. So I am not online, but if I just take this, if I want this image of the globe here, I'll click on it, I'll drag it down, I'll wait until my Notebook file opens, and then I'll drag it up. And there it's there. And that's the same regardless of where you are. So if we go into my pictures, okay, and we'll take let's take the chocolates. So I want the picture of the chocolates, down and up. Okay.
So drag and drop rather than copy and paste.
You can still do copy and paste, but drag and drop's nice and quick and easy. Absolutely. And it's.
So, if I got it right though, that to do that, you need to be using the computer.
Nope.
that's linked to the screen.
No. In fact, this isn't something which is exclusive to a Smartboard. You can do this currently with PowerPoint and anything that you're currently using, but a lot of people obviously just do the copy and paste. But because on a Smartboard it's just nice and easy to do it that way. But if you were just with your mouse and PC at home, you could use a mouse. The key here though is when you take your picture, you don't let go down here because it'll just come up and say, that's not right. You grab your picture, you pull it down, and then you pull it up. Okay. Now that's great with pictures, but if I go back to our Internet Explorer and we get the text telling me that it can't get in, text is also really good as well. And this is how your students plagiarise now. Okay. They highlight it, they grab it, they pull it down, and they pull it up. And then they just go double tap, and they use Function F7 or Shift and F7, get the thesaurus up, and they change it. So let's just do that. So Internet Explorer. Right. So I suppose the trick here is never to believe anything that you get from the internet, because it's just text and it just sees it as being so. Change it to colour, you'll see the back. Okay, so the drag and drop is quite neat, and you can drag and drop anything. Just watch out for if you were to hover on an image or something on a web page which is a link to something else. When you drag it down, what it will actually do is drag the link, so it will be text, and then when you click on that, it will be a link to somewhere else. But what we can also do, now looking at these ones here, we know, here's the screen shade. I should have shown you how to put the screen shade on when we were talking about it. That's a full screen one as well, just a screen to get to your full page without all your buttons. But this one here, the camera, is a great tool. So I can click on the camera, and you'll see it opens up a separate toolbar on my page. If I minimise all of this, you can see there that it still stays there. So if we take our picture of our donuts and sweeties and cakes, I like cake, I like cake a lot actually. Stevens the bakers do a rare intro to me. So ignore the two in the middle, but what we have at the start here on the left hand side and the right hand side are really, really powerful tools. So we use the one on the left first of all. I click on that, and then what I can do is I can do a freehand around an area, and it will capture that into Notebook. Okay, so there we go. That's the one I've just done there. Okay, we'll just get rid of all of these just now. So I'm just highlighting them all by clicking and dragging around them, and I'm going to delete all of those other ones just so you can see in a blank page. If I only wanted to take that pink one in the middle, I could do that. I'll go to the freehand one, and I will just go freehand around it. And again, that will now be put in there. Okay, so really, really powerful tool. We can capture anything from within Notebook or anything from anywhere at all. Okay, so if we go to, let's just close that down. So we go to, okay, we'll just go to this one. I had a flood in the house, so I had to take pictures for insurance. So if I wanted to only take my seat from the dining room, freehand round it, okay, just keep your finger depressed all the time, and there it's there. Okay, pretty powerful stuff. And again, everything's an object, so it can be resized, it can be moved about, and whatever we want to do. Okay. So anybody got any questions on Notebook? In its crudest form, as I said at the start, let's walk before we run. Just use it as a flip chart. So come in, double tap on Notebook, okay, and it'll bring up a blank sheet, and just quite simply pick up your pen and write on it. So walk before you run, okay? When we're finished doing what we've done, we want to save it. Now, it's unlikely all your students are going to have Smart Notebook on their PCs. I've not got a problem with them having Smart Notebook on your PCs. You've bought the boards, and if you want to give your students license keys, you're more than welcome. But probably what you want to do is save it in a format that they will have. So we go File. Now, for your saving, you're going to do as a save, right, or a save as, and that will save as a notebook file. But for your students, we probably want to give them it in a format that we can open in their own PC. So what we'll do is we'll go File and we'll go Export. And by hitting Export, we've got the choice here. We can export it as a web page, an image file, or a PDF or a PowerPoint. Generally, the rule of thumb is in teaching we'll do it as a PDF so that they can't play with it. But you might want to do it as a PowerPoint, and then it just takes everything through as an object into PowerPoint. So if I click on PDF, it'll say, how would you like it? You can have it as thumbnails, handouts, or you can do a full page. Okay? And you might upload that to, if you've got a system like Moodle or whatever, you could upload it to that. Okay? And it just is a nice, neat setup. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, you might want to do it the other way. You might have PowerPoint files that you want to use the features of Notebook within, your screen shade and your magic pen and so on and so forth. And you might want to open your PowerPoint file in here. And we can do exactly the same thing, but rather than exporting, we're going to import. So we've got here File, Import, and it will take you in, and you can choose whatever you want to import in. Now, it does take a wee second to import a file, so I'll not put one up. But it will convert everything in exactly the same way as it appears on your page. The only downside, obviously, is it won't bring in any animations or whatnot. It will just be on the page. But the whole idea of Notebook and a Smartboard is to deliver it in a nice, simple and easy, concise way for your students. Okay. So don't worry about reinventing the wheel. Are you all quite happy with Notebook? Yeah. I will go through quickly with you PowerPoint, just show you how it integrates in with PowerPoint. And do any of you use Excel or Word when teaching as well? A few of you? Yeah, I'll show you how it integrates with them as well then. So to go into PowerPoint, we're just going to do exactly the same as normal. So we'll go into our presentations. And we'll just open up a PowerPoint presentation. To launch the PowerPoint, we'll just go View and Slideshow. And the first thing you'll notice here is our new toolbar down the bottom. Okay, so you can move that anywhere on the screen. And again, forward and backwards arrows, yeah, you'll guess what they mean. So here we go, here's a wee thing for you. So see if anybody can guess who said this. Our view is all surfaces will eventually have touchscreen display and will be completely interactive. And then this person also went on to say that whiteboarding will be absolutely persuasive and will dramatically change the ability to use and share information. Now, I know I just said it, but who do you think said that?
Probably your managing director.
No. Think somebody who's got much more money than him.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. There we go. There we go. Absolutely. Now you'll see I've just drawn on my PowerPoint presentation. I picked up a pen and I drew. Now I just carry on going through my presentation. When I go back, my drawings, give it a second, will still be there. Right? Now, you're going through your PowerPoint presentation and somebody at the back of the class asks you a question. Now, if we're doing it in Notebook, we know it's quite easy to add a blank page in. We just hit the page with plus. But we're in a PowerPoint presentation right now. It's very two-dimensional. How do we make it three-dimensional? Normally what we do is we'd run over to this. We scribble up the notes. And then your class is all going to write up their notes. And you think, when can I move forward? I better wait for him to finish. I know he's taking too long. Right, I'll just go. And they're still here and you're through your lesson. So what we say is, right, okay, no problem. You've asked a question. I'm going to hit the middle button. And I'm going to hit Add Blank Slide. So I add a blank slide in, my presentation's gone from 19 pages to 20 pages. Then we can say why we've added the blank slide in. And then we can just move on with the presentation. So the idea is, don't take any notes. I'll scribble up what we're going to discuss, and then we'll move on. So it's a write, save, and distribute again. At the end of the presentation, we can choose to go all the way through using the arrows, or we can just hit the middle button and end the show. And bang. Would you want to add your drawings into this presentation? Well, I'll just say yes. And you'll see now it's inserting as an image into my PowerPoint. Okay, so there's my circle I drew around Bill Gates. And you can see it's just a clip art, and as are. And the neat thing about the extra slide I added in, it's come in after the slide the question was asked. So we don't need to worry about putting it in. Another good thing for you as a tutor is, if that slide and that question is consistently getting asked, you know you need to change your presentation. And it's as simple as that. So in PowerPoint, all you're learning, nothing new, view, slideshow, forward and backwards, and middle button to add a blank slide in. The only other feature of it you might choose to use, because you can't get your screen shade up, you hit the middle button, PowerPoint commands, and black or unblack screen. So look at me. Alright, so it covers up what's on the screen. The downside to that, as opposed to the screen shade, is the screen shade you can put on that screen before it comes to that screen. Whereas this, you launch a page and then you have to hit the command. But we can only work with what we've been given. And that's PowerPoint. Really straightforward. Okay, so that's why a lot of people eventually, when they start to get used to Notebook, will import their PowerPoints into Notebook to get the extra features. Excel and Word are also very, very straightforward. So if I go into an Excel document, we can see I've got a whole load of text up here. I can click on a cell. Now the first thing you'll see new, what are these PCs using? Is it 2003 or 2007 for Office? Do you know?
Both.
Both. Okay, so if it's 2003, the toolbar you'll see new is up here. Okay, if it's not up here, we just need to go View and Toolbars, and you'll see down the bottom we've got Smart Aware. For 2007 and newer, when I pick up a pen, that toolbar there will appear on my screen, just in a separate box. Okay, so what I've done is I've picked up the pen, I've highlighted myself, sorry, I've picked up my pen, and then I just write on the screen. Don't write in the cell because the people at the back need to see and we need to get agreement. So at the top left you can see I've got a scribble, a double A and a camera. Now the camera is dead simple, it's going to capture that and put it into Notebook. If Notebook's not open, it's going to open Notebook for you. But what I'm going to hit is a double A. So if I go up here and hit the double A, it has put that 1, 2, 3 into the cell. And I'm not sure if you can see at the back there, but that's green. It takes the colour of pen that I've used. And the handwriting recognition on it is excellent. Watch me get it wrong now. So if it can read that, double A, and it's there. Okay. Don't expect it to read big formulas, right? So if you're going to put equals sum, blah, 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 it ain't going to read it because it will get confused. It can read text and it can read numerals, but two at the same time, it will start to struggle. The other thing that we've got, this scribble at the top, is for reviewing purposes. So we can say, right, okay, that's not right, that should be moved down there, this is Y, no, take that out, change that to whatever. So we can do that in the scribble, we'll just insert that as an image. Okay, so now I've got a clip art of image here. But the neat thing is I can still access all the cells behind. So it's not like you're putting a picture over and I can't access the cells behind. I can still access all those cells. Right? So that's all you've got to learn. The scribble to put in as an image and the double A to put in as text. Don't do joined up writing. Try and make your writing like you would for everybody to read. Nice and straightforward and easy, and convert it to text. Word is exactly the same. I'll show you Word, but it's exactly the same. So Have I got a Word document in here which is no, it's okay. Well, so we can pick up a pen and we can write on the board and double A, and there it's there. Same with the scribble. So if you're working on somebody's dissertation with them or whatever we're doing, put some lines through it. It's just an image over the top. Scribble as to why they should make the changes, and put the scribble in. So, right, and now that's part. And then once you make those changes, you can just delete that as well. And that's Word. The final thing that you saw me do at the start is I can write over anything at all. So we've looked at PowerPoint, Excel and Word and Notebook and how it all integrates in with it. There's obviously applications that you might use that it won't integrate in with. So you might be looking at a web page that you want to highlight something to, or it might just be a lesson. So you saw at the start, we pick up a pen and I'm writing on my desktop. So that is how we open Smart Notebook. We do X, Y and Z, okay? I want to capture that because how can I capture that? Because I can't insert that on my desktop. Well, you'll see I've got this annotation layer has appeared around the screen. And how do you think I might capture it? Hit the camera. Hit the camera. Notebook's not open, so it's going to open up Notebook for me and it's going to put that screen grab into a new page, and there it's there. It's an object, so object can be resized. We can lock it into place, we can group it, we can clone it, we can do whatever you want to do. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a Smartboard. Right. Quite happy. I mean, there's a questions that you've got just now that you want to ask.
Fair bit of learning in that.
Yeah, but as I say, walk before you run, and use Notebook initially just as a whiteboard. Use your PowerPoints, but also on the Smart Tech website, which you'll not forget because it's right here, smarttech.com. Everything I've gone through, there's actually video tutorials and PDF tutorials that talk you step by step through everything that we've done. But just take your time. You know, the idea is to get rid of these. Allow you to use this even just as a simple whiteboard, just to scribble up notes. Because even at that, it's still making your lesson more engaging.
Can you connect if you've got an iPhone that's got a particular app in it that you want your learners to look at, can you connect that?
Yeah, I mean, so how would you do that now? Can you put your iPhone through a television?
USB.
USB. Would that get your screen up though on the iPhone?
It's a screen on the computer.
Well, in that case then yes. If you could get a snapshot of your screen up, then yes. The other way you could do it.
It's the thing you use for charging the iPhone.
But would that get your screen image up?
USB.
Would that get?
Yeah, like the USB, yes.
Yeah.
Comes out the bottom, and the USB goes into the computer, and it will come up on the screen then. So presumably that would come
Yeah,
up on that.
because essentially.
That's an iPhone.
That's not. I've not got the connector. Yeah, but ultimately this is just an intelligent monitor. The other thing is, if that didn't work, what you could purchase, and you'd have to speak to Jean nicely about it, is something called a visualizer. And basically with the visualizer, you can see the button here. And it's just like an overhead projector as well. Anything you put under the visualizer would appear on the screen, live. Okay, and then you can capture to a new page, you can zoom in and all that sort of thing under the visualizer. But if it's something you can do on a PC, you can do on a Smartboard.
Just thinking about that, I'm not sure what you're up to with the apps, but you can capture anything from the iPhone on the computer, which means you can then put it on that screen once it's captured on the
Yeah.
computer. I'm not sure what you meant by the app, you know, whether you wanted that to actually do what it does.
Yeah, to do it if you've got
Not
a
sure
knot tying,
I'm not
Yeah.
sure about that one.
you might not be able to open it
might
and
not
see
be
the
able to.
icon.
So what you would need at that case then would be a visualizer, because rather than getting everybody to come around your iPhone
Yeah.
group by group, you'd stick your iPhone under the visualizer, and you would do under the visualizer what you would do on your iPhone, and it would appear on the screen. But you'd have to talk nicely to G.
What about sound?
For our yep, absolutely. The speakers are there. Let's just make sure that the sound, because you can, yeah, if you've got a DVD player or whatever on your PC or your laptop or whatever, you can. But I don't even know if I've got any music on this laptop. Just the sample stuff. So your volume controls here. Okay. Okay.
If you put write a word, is it able to convert the word to the sound of the word? If you wrote smart, for instance, on the board, couldn't see that's.
You'd need software to do that. So
additional software.
yeah. So I mean, you could do that in Microsoft SAM. But that's probably taking it to the next stage.
So this is really only visualised then.
Pretty much. I mean, but you can on the keyboard. Let's see. On the on-screen keyboard, we have a number of options here, and is it in the right one? Now you're testing me here. So settings, speech. So if I now it will speak it back to you, right? Because in here you've got, no, it didn't put speech on. Let's see if I've got it that time.
Right.
It's one of those voices, of course.
Yeah, it's a computer voice, you know. So, and you can see it's typing it up there.
Smart.
Okay, so yeah, you can do that. That's your next level.
Actually show them, recorded programs.
Yeah.
That you've recorded from discs and things.
Anything at all. And the neat thing about that as well is that you've actually got something called the smart video player. So down here you've also got a smart icon, and you can see video player. It's also in the start menu. So in the smart video player, I don't think I've got any videos I can open, have I? Where are we going to go? Nope. Trying to remember where will that play. Right. So we've got video playing. It's just in Windows Media format. So it's talking here. Let's just
My name is Bolo Oshisan.
pick up a pen. It pauses the video. Right. This is why it's paused video. And what I can do, I've written on top of the video, down the bottom again, I've got my camera. I can capture that. Then I can erase what I've just done. I can make that erase in a certain level of time. And when the pen goes back down, it carries on playing the video. But the neat thing there is it's there, it's in Notebook now. The screen grab from a video. So you can play DVDs and whatever through Smart Video Player, and as soon as you pick up a pen, it will pause it. It's great, again, the SFA are using that because it's great for reviewing what players are doing.
Can you use this for video conferencing if it's connected to your camera?
Yeah, yeah, because just a projector. It's never going to be as high quality as your screen. But absolutely, yeah, of course you can. Yeah. What we tend to see, in fact, and this is BT. BT are buying thousands of smartboards right now to roll across all around the world. They've got it sitting side by side with video conferencing because we supply a bit of software called Bridget, and Bridget's data collaboration, which means that whatever I'm doing here will also appear in somebody's screen anywhere else in the world. But they can also control my PC. So if they've got a smartboard, a industrial park in Leeds, in India, they work together. So he's writing on a smartboard in a industrial park in Leeds. The guy in India is also writing on a smartboard, but they're writing on the same document. So they do that side by side with video conferencing. It's very, very powerful. It's what I've got set up in the office in Edinburgh as well. So it's Do you know what? There are some universities in America use Bridget for their students because they're either too hungover, too lazy to get out of bed, or they're going to work straight after the lesson. So what they do is they sit at home on their laptops and they see the lesson getting broadcast live. And they've got a wee webcam image of the tutor and the voice over IP all running through the Smartboard. It's awesome. Absolutely, absolutely. I use Bridget because I'm up in Dunfermline and the rest of my colleagues are down in Bagshot in Surrey. So I'll lie on the sofa while they're all sitting in the work, you know, and I'll have my laptop on my knee, and we'll look at our proposals together, and we'll look at, you know, what resellers are doing, or we'll, you know, that sort of thing, and we'll work together on the same document from 400 miles away. So, but it works very well with VC. So my trick to you is just use it. Don't worry if the pens aren't here, just cover up the sensors with whatever you can grab your hands on, bits of paper or whatever, but use it. You'll not break it. Just well, don't stick compasses or needles in it because then you will break it. But just come in, turn it on using the big on button, turn the PC on, and away you go. The only thing that you might need to know, with it being the boom arm like this, it's unlikely you'll often have to do this, but if I'm touching here and you find it's touching over there, we'll need to orient the board. And to do that, it's really simple. I push the 2 buttons and it pops over that screen there. And all I do is grab the pen and drag it into the yellow dot and then lift it off. And when you lift it off, that's your point of contact. Okay? Some people just bang their finger in, but you can see there's a difference obviously in the width of your finger and your pen. Drag it in and let it go. If you do a duff one, just hit one of the buttons at the bottom again and it'll put it back. Okay? It's unlikely with the setup that you have here that you're going to have to do that very often. But if the door's knocked and the projector's been moved or whatever, then you just need to do that. It's a 2-second job. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Just enjoy using it. All right. Thanks for your patience.
Are you going to send us notes?
I can send some notes to Jean if you want, and she can forward them out.
Electronically, so then Jean can.
I'll do that if you want. As I say, alternatively as well, on the Smart Tech website, you've got, just go in and it says tutorials, just click on that and it talks you through absolutely everything. The trick is, as I say, is just to play with it when you get a chance.
I think there's one on the learning and teaching.
There probably will be, yeah.
Can I just ask, do you know where would be the most trouble?
Fraser will tell you that. I must admit, I did get a list of the rooms when we were looking for one for this session, but I haven't got it with me.
The college also has something called a Smart Podium. Right, I don't know if you've seen these. They're just little, show you. It's just a desktop product, which, where is it? This here, okay? So you might have seen some of these about, okay? It doesn't have the pens down the bottom, it's got pen colours at the top. And it's got a pen that's just tethered to it, so it's not finger driven because then you get grubby finger marks over a nice clear screen. Just grab a pen and everything is identical. Okay, rather than using your finger, well, you're using a pen. Okay, so you've got some boards and you've got some of these. All right, there we go. Thank you very much.